What's up, gang? Welcome back to Pretty Girl Gang TV, where we conduct nothing but pretty girl business. I'm your girl, Jeanina, and yes, I am sitting here with a bare face, honey, because we are going to be reviewing some foundation, the new Juvia'S place, Iammagicfoundation. Okay, now the girls are saying, girl, that this foundation is the world's most full coverage foundation, and that is a very bold claim to make, I might say, okay, because there are some pretty good full coverage foundations out there. I tend to gravitate towards full coverage foundations because I have horrible skin, girl, as you can see. Horrible skin. I have acne, I have hyperpigmentation, I have oily skin, I have textured skin. So I am all about the high full coverage matte foundations. On today's video, we are just gonna play around with Juvia'S new Iammagicfoundation. I also bought a few other things. I bought her flat top foundation brush as well as another blush. Now, I am no stranger to Juvia'S place. I actually have purchased from Juvia before. I have both of her Nubian blush palettes and her famous Masquerade palette. So girl, if you are interested to see how this foundation performs and how it stands up to all of its claims, keep on watching.
Diamonds on my neck, chrome drop top.
And of course, I couldn't find my headband, so I had to use this, girl. Aww. I had to use this, because of course, when you want to film something, you can't find nothing, right? So if you guys can't already tell, I have my eyebrows done and concealed because the purpose of this video is to just focus solely on the foundation. So I'm going to show you guys the two shades that I picked up. Before I start, I wanted to mention that it was a little rough finding my foundation shade. When Juvia first launched these foundations, there weren't many tools on how to select your shade. So I did have to wait a little bit in order for them to hit Ulta stores so I can swatch them. Before they hit Ulta stores, there was no foundation shade finder, there was no comparison chart, there were barely any swatches, so I decided to look to YouTube. And I was on YouTube, but most of the people that got PR with the foundations weren't my skin tone, so that didn't really help. So I had to wait, ultimately, for them to come out in Ulta. So when I ventured out to Ulta to swatch these foundations, I did notice that once they were swatched and dried down, they did oxidize, and they seemed to oxidize darker. So it was kind of hard for me to find a shade because it seemed like the shade that best fit me dried down and it became darker, and then the shade a little bit lighter than me dried down and it was a little bit darker, and it just didn't work for me. So I actually ended up purchasing two foundations in order to create a custom foundation to mix, and that is normally what I do. Normally I buy two foundations and mix them because I feel like I get my perfect shade like that. The only perfect shade I have in a foundation that I only bought one of is the Rihanna Pro Filter foundation. I am in the shade 385. It is my perfect shade. I don't have to mix it with anything. I don't have to alter it in any way. So that's what I do. So I picked up two of the shades. One shade is in Kampala number 340, and the other shade is in Havana 420. Now, Kampala is described as deep, medium dark with yellow undertones. Girl, there is a fly in here. And Havana is described as a tan medium with peach undertones. But when I swatched them and mixed them together, it turned out to be my perfect shade. I'll go ahead and swatch them for you guys individually so you can see how each one looks on my skin before we actually mix them. Juvia'S place Iammagicfoundations foundations retail for $20, which is a very good price point, I think, because like I said, I always customize my foundation, so I have to end up buying two different foundations. So $20 is not a bad price point. So anyway, let's get into some swatches. The first one I'm gonna swatch is Kampala, and it is the number 340. Now, I thought this one was a pretty close match, but it's just a smidge too dark. So I'm gonna swatch them on the side of my face for you guys. Now this one is Kampala 340. And on camera, it looks like my shade, but once it oxidizes, it's a little bit too dark. So that one's Kampala. The next one will be Havana in 420. And this one, when it comes out of the bottle on my finger, it looks like my shade, but once you swatch it, it's too light. So this is Havana 420. As you guys can see. So this one is classified as golden or yellow undertones, but it's a little neutral for me. And Havana is classified with peach undertones, and I feel like it's a little bit more neutral on me. So we'll mix them and I'll show you guys what I got when I mixed them. So what I did was I squeezed a little bit more of Kampala out and just maybe a drop of Havana, since Havana is lighter. And I'm telling you, first impression on these squeezy tubes, I like them and I don't like them. I don't like them because I'm getting very messy just trying to like squeeze it out on my little palette here. I feel like it's better to have a pump, but I guess, you know, I like the tubing because it's very small, it's compact. It's definitely TSA approved. You can definitely travel with this, and if I drop it, it won't break. I also like it because I feel like once it starts to get low, you can kind of, you know, like do like toothpaste. You can kind of squeeze it all out and it'll, from the back here, and then you can kind of like massage it and squeeze all the product out. So at least you're getting all the product. But like, I feel like these type of packagings, like the squeezy tubes, are very messy because it's getting all over my hands just squeezing it out. So I don't know, that's just me. So this is how much I squeezed out of both, and I'm just gonna mix it together with my little tool here. I feel like such a beauty guru, you know, because I got like this little palette and this little spatula. So when I mixed the two together, I got this color. Now let's do a swatch. So this is what I got. And that is Kampala and Havana mixed together. Okay guys, so before we go ahead and apply the foundation, I'm going to put my Tatcha Silk Primer on. And I'm just gonna use a flat foundation brush that is a Mary Kay brand one. I got this from a lady who sells Mary Kay. She's been trying to get me to like buy some Mary Kay forever, but I'm not a Mary Kay fan. So in order to support her, I bought the brush. And I'm using Tatcha because this foundation claims to be a soft matte. And even though I am oily, I feel like I still like to have kind of a soft moisturizing primer on, because sometimes when the foundation is a little too matte, I feel like it can get uncomfortable and just too tight on my skin. So I like to use Tatcha Silk Primer. It's my favorite primer of all time. Okay, so now that my primer is applied, I've also been using this Farsali Haldi Eyes underneath my eyes because I feel like I feel like I'm really good with my eye cream regimen at night, but not so much in the day. So I started using this on my eyes before I put my makeup on, and that way it'll count as like me using my eye cream. So I just put like 2 little dots, and I'll use my ring finger and just look up and just apply it there underneath my eyes and kind of on the sides here. And sometimes I like to take it up to my eyelids, but because I have concealer on there, I'm not gonna do that because I feel like that's pointless. And then I just make sure it's worked in good. And I feel like using this has actually helped with creasing underneath my eyes also. I guess because it's maybe acting as a primer and a moisturizer, so it fills in kind of those fine lines. So now the moment of truth, okay? We're gonna apply this foundation. This time I'm gonna squeeze it out on the spatula. Maybe that'll be better. So here's a drop of Kampala. We'll add another drop. And then we'll add in a drop of Havana on top, just because we're mixing those together. And we'll start with that little bit, and we're gonna use Juvia'S flat top foundation. This retails at, I believe it was $14. So let's see. And when I, ooh, girl, this, hold on a minute. Dang. Okay, Juvia, giving us full coverage here. And it's super light. Like it doesn't even feel like there's anything on my face. And she's definitely full coverage, honey. Definitely. Woo! Okay, Juvia'S place might have snapped here. Girl, my new motto for 2019, okay, is flawless foundation and minding my business. Just saying. So around my eyes, when I apply my foundation, I like to stipple it because premature wrinkles, we don't know her. And that little bit did the whole half of my face, and it could probably spread up here as well. But I'm gonna add some more because I wanna see if it's buildable or if it's gonna look cakey. I'm gonna get in between my nose there. And this foundation is classified as a demi matte or like a soft matte. And it's definitely a soft matte. It doesn't feel tight on my skin. It doesn't feel harsh. It actually feels really good. It spreads really good. It doesn't dry fast like most of the mattes do. Girl, Juvia, she created some next level. Like this feels like some next level foundation here. So let's go in with a little bit more. I'm gonna take Kampala again and put just a drop on my forehead. And look how much it spreads. That little drop, like that was just a little tiny drop and it just spreads like butter. It feels very soft and creamy. Then we're gonna do a drop of Havana on top of there. Ooh. And I think that's too much. Too much. Cause this stuff spreads, girl. Ooh, Lord. Lord Jesus, that looks good. I'm looking good here. Like my skin is looking airbrush. It even covered up that little boo-boo I have. Oh my gosh, girl. Now the color is, I think it's okay. It's a tad dark than what I wear in my foundation, but I think we can fix that with concealer. It's not too bad. And I mean, just take a look at this foundation. Like, it looks so airbrushed. Girl, ooh, it looks so good. And I'm loving this foundation brush also. I love how the structure of it is made where you can grip it. It's not too thick. I like to buy foundation brushes because I'm more of a foundation brush girl and not a beauty blender. I only use a beauty blender if I absolutely have to. Okay, so I'm just making sure it's all even here and evened out everywhere, and it looks good. I mean, wow. Honey, get into this foundation, sis. It looks straight up airbrush. Like, I can't believe it. All my hyperpigmentation is gone. You can't really see my texture. I mean, you can see my little burn I have here, but it's brand new. I mean, so far so good. All right, so I'm actually gonna go ahead and finish the rest of my face off camera because like I said, this review is just focused on the foundation, so I'll be right back. Okay guys, so here is the completed look. As you can see, it is flawless. There is no hyperpigmentation coming through. There is no texture. There is no creasing. It's even, it's a great color. I mean, my skin looks completely airbrushed. I didn't change up anything in my routine. All I did was highlight with some NARS Creamy Radiant Contour with my custom Anastasia Beverly Hills contour palette. Throw on some lip gloss in the color White Space from Stila. Throw on some lashes from Lashy Box in the style Sriracha. And add a little bit of this spicy blush from Juvia'S in the color Bella. So my final thoughts on this foundation. I love this foundation. From a 0 to 10, I would rate this foundation a 10, from 0 being the poorest and 10 being the greatest. It is a 10. It is by far a full coverage foundation. It is high performance. It is flawless. It is soft. It's not uncomfortable on your skin. They have 42 shades, so I'm pretty sure you can find your shade. I am honestly impressed. Juvia'S truly did create some next level foundation. Now I'd like to know you guys' opinion. Sound off in the comments below and let me know if you're gonna buy this foundation, if you're looking into buy this foundation, or if you already own this foundation. What are your thoughts about this foundation? And if you like this video, go ahead and give your girl a like, subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.